I've always been told that I was too optimistic, that I thought too positively or dreamed too big, that I wasn't realistic. Like, people would make fun of me or say kind of weird things to me if I did something like gave a homeless person $20 when they were asking for one, or gave a waitress $100 tip and my bill was 50. And I think that's because they didn't understand how if you need $1, 20 could change your entire day. Because when I needed $1 and somebody gave me 10, it felt like I could breathe, just breathe for like one more minute. And that one more minute gave me the hope to breathe for 5 more. And I know that we see the worst part of life so easily. We are kind of attracted to the mayhem that's in the world and we forget the beauty that exists. I've literally had people meet the person who birthed me and then later ask me why I was not a serial killer. And I think that it's because I've been a part of so much tragedy. I've seen so much tragedy. I mean, I was alive during 9/11 and when the United States went to war in Iraq, and I grew up on the east side of Detroit watching my friends die. Some by the hand of the police, others, my little sister included, because of a system that none of us ever chose. And then I saw the tragedies of Katrina and people being displaced. The hurricanes that hit St. Thomas, a place where I lived and walked, but where friends of mine lived their entire lives and saw everything that they ever knew just be gone. And it's in those times that I got to see the true nature of people, the true ability of people to come together and take care of each other, to really, really support one another when we're at our worst. During the most tragic of times, it's never the government's or somebody's president or the billionaires pulling up their yachts to port to come and pick up people from an island that's been devastated. It was the people who took children from that island, from friends of mine, took children that they didn't know back to ports on the mainland so that those people's family members could take their kids, so that their kids didn't have to be on an island with no power, no water, no food. It was people who brought water to Flint when they found out about the tragedies happening just 45 minutes from my city that has a water filtration system. It was governments and bureaucrats that left that same water in schools to rot instead of passing it out to the people who need it. I've seen what people can do when the time comes. We're seeing it right now with the LA fires. It's people who are deciding to donate what they have while times are hard for them in their own homes. It's people who are deciding that other people matter enough. And yeah, I am sensitive and I cry and I will give a person the shirt off of my back even if I don't know them. It's not because I'm special or so much more good than anyone else. It's just that I understand. I understand that there doesn't have to be a camera in your face for you to be a part of a moment where a person can breathe a little bit easier. I understand that the things that I have, even though I might only have $40 and I give 20 to a homeless person that I don't know, I understand that that is one more minute that could turn into 5 more minutes of that person breathing easier no matter what they do with the money. I understand that things only have value because we place it there. Most people only want a Benz because some person told them that they'd be better if they had one. They haven't even driven it yet. They haven't even gone to the lot to test drive to see if they like the way it handles. It might not even be a Benz kind of girl. You're just buying it because someone told you, oh, that's luxury. And if you have luxury, you're better than other people. And you only want to be better than other people because a group of people with an inferiority complex decided they needed something to feel better than others. So they chose elitism and wealth. Oh yeah, have this thing. And then you'll be better than other people and you'll feel good about yourself. Meanwhile, people feel horrible. And people are stressed out and upset and distraught over things that they don't have for nothing, when they don't even have any real value. When it's people who are the real value. Because those things can be gone in a second. And people make fun of me, but my optimism and my joy and my love is something that I can't run out of. It doesn't go away. No matter how much bad I see, I always see the good afterwards. I used to cry so many tears of pain and despair and distress. And now all I cry is happy tears. I'm happy right now, reflecting on the things that I've been able to overcome when I let go of the things that people told me I should be. We place so much value on relationships, especially family and love relationships, because we think that we can't live without them and that the bad things that have happened to us are so terrible that we'll never feel good again or we can't see any brightness in the world. And it's just not true. It's not true. Because the truth is, if those relationships were so important, they wouldn't be so conditional. All of the time and stress and effort you put in to being perfect for people and not for yourself, destroying the time that you have to live as the fullest and best you just to please those people, it's not even worth it. It doesn't even have real value. Because if you don't live up to their expectations, if you don't do what they want you to do, then they turn their backs on you and they leave. So where was their value for you? You have so much value for them. Where was their value for you? You have to value yourself enough to be who you are, figure out who you are, do the things that feel right for you, live the way you want, and let the people who deserve to love you come to you and celebrate the real you. Because it'll make you compassionate towards other people and them being the real them. It's not that hard, and I'm not overly optimistic. I know that there are bad people in the world. I know that there are people who don't care about anything but themselves. But the truth is, those people don't actually care about themselves. Because if they did, they'd see the joy and the beauty in the love that you can share with other people. They'd see how great it is to be themselves and let that be enough. And they wouldn't have to stand on the necks of other people. They wouldn't have to try and maintain control over other people. They'd be perfectly happy seeing those people happy. And yes, I was a perpetual people pleaser. But I realize now that it wasn't because that whole time I couldn't do anything else. Yes, I had some lessons to learn about self-love, but I always had a choice and I could always do something else. But I knew that I had the strength to overcome what I was feeling and what I was going through. And sometimes other people need a little more help. And it was okay for me to give that little more help. I learned my lessons about boundaries and appropriate reciprocal relationships. But now, as I sit here healed and happy and healthy, I'm happy that I was those things. I'm happy that I learned, even though it was through trauma, to see the beauty in supporting and helping others to breathe easy for just 5 more minutes, even if people thought I was silly for it. It is possible to love a stranger. It is possible to give your all for nothing. Because it's always something. What you get back is always something. There's a joy and a peace. There just is. There's nothing too difficult for you to overcome. There's nothing too hard for you to face. Because when you do, you find the joy in being yourself. And that's what you can transfer to other people. You don't have to run away from the bad stuff or hate the world because the bad stuff exists. A lot of the bad stuff shows you how good it can get. Do we love the bad stuff? Not really. Doesn't feel great. But the good that can come out of it, amazing. Your family doesn't love you for who you are? Sucks. But you loving who you are, and then finding that family that belongs to you by right and not by blood, amazing thing to come out of such a tragedy, right? We kind of downplay the really good things that we get to experience because we give the bad so much power. We make it so important, so valuable, when really it's the good things that should be the most valuable. It doesn't matter about the reasons that people emotionally blackmail you or guilt you into being who they want you to be. They have no value. You should not give 1 red cent or 1 of your life minutes to that. Because the people who really love you would never do that to you. So you can let go of who doesn't, who won't like it, what they might say. Oh my gosh, I won't be socially acceptable. But will you be happy? Will you be happy if you do the thing you want to do? We know, not something that's generally harmful to the rest of people, right? But will you be happy if you do the job you want to do? or the career you want to do, or you wear the dress you want to wear, or you love the person, people, or things that you want to love? Will you be happy? Will your internal be satisfied? Will you cry tears of joy as opposed to sad ones and despair and melancholy all the time? Will you? If you let those people go and you let them figure out on their own why they needed to lord over you instead of being who they wanted to be? Will you? Will you if you love and live how you want to? With no excuses. Oh, I don't have the money. Oh, I can't do this. Oh, I have kids. Don't blame those kids. That's not their fault. They didn't ask to be here. You loving and supporting them is the bare minimum. You being who you need to be will be the best lesson they could ever see. Don't make excuses. Don't make reasons why you have to be horrible. You don't. Don't make reasons why you have to be miserable. Don't make reasons why we're all afraid to change the things that have been created. We can change. The attitude of, that's just the way it is. No, that's the way someone made it. Another person decided what rules, what laws, what social acceptance was, and they wrote it down, and we all accepted and went along because it was easier to not change. But we, the people, have the ability to change everything. We, the people, could just fix it. And you don't need a senator or a president or a journalist to tell you that. Because every time it really comes down to it, none of their think pieces, bureaucracy, attitudes, or conversations ever change anything. It's always you helping your neighbor. It's always you supporting a person you don't know. It's always the joy and the love and the optimism for something better, the hope for something better, the action towards something better that you have that changes something. So I'll stick with my optimism, and I'll keep being an overlover and an overgiver and a crier. I'll keep being me. And you can decide to be whoever you are.